What is up, everybody? It is day 12 today. I wonder what, I wonder if it would be better to use this or to use this microphone. I should test it out, like what actually sounds better. And whatever sounds better, I'll use it from now on. If these things or this one. But anyways, today was a decent day. Today was actually a great day, really. We didn't get any more closes, but we had the first onboarding. And also, um, we've set up a lot of stuff. Like I've set up a lot of systems and things that I had been organizing that I started yesterday and today I finished pretty much all of it. So I'm super happy about that, man. Like super duper happy, really. So right now, what's been going on? First of all, I had a call very early. The guy showed up. Good call. He had a business partner though, so I kind of went through half the call. Then I told him, "Hey, it's gonna be at least $30 to $50 a day on ad spend. If you want, go over that with your partner, and then we can go over the rest of the call tomorrow." He was like, "Sure, bro." Just like we did that. Then I had the onboarding call, and we only got $100 deposit yesterday, so today we got the rest, which ended up being only 400. Initially was meant to be 900, but it ended up being more like only 400. Like I literally, I was on the call with the guy, and he like understand. He had thought that it was like either. I guess he thought it was either like the service fee or the ad spend fee. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what he understood. But anyways, and I was like, no, like that's not how it works, bro. And I had to explain it to him. And I explained it to him again. I was like, no, yeah, like there's a fee, the $30 to $50 a day that is on the ad spend, and then the $1,000 a month that is for us to manage the ads. And that was like this. And he was looking up like, I want a refund then. No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that. He was looking up and he was like, can you do any smaller packages? I'm like, bruh. But, at least he didn't push for a refund. That's at least some progress, I guess. So I told him, yeah, let's just start with 500 instead, and then the $30 a day, whatever. And so he was like, cool, let's do that. So that's exactly what we did. And we'll be running $500 a month and then 30 a day on ads for him. We processed the rest of the payment. Then we did the onboarding. We honestly, it was like a very choppy onboarding. It ended up taking us like 50 minutes or like 45 minutes, but that's because it was like the first one. Abdul was on the call with me because he needed to teach me some of this stuff on the call, so it probably didn't look too professional. But I mean, this client didn't even really realize. He didn't really mind either, so that was good. But yeah, next time I'll make sure to do a more professional onboarding. He didn't have any Facebook page or Instagram, so we're just gonna use an ad account from our business manager and like a Facebook page to run it from. The good thing is that we can technically buy business managers, which can have up to 5 ad accounts for like $100 or something or 200. I don't know, however much it is, and that's good because that makes us have more control. And on the onboarding, a lot of these people, for example, don't even have a computer. Like this guy, he needed to get his daughter's computer, for example, and his daughter was still asleep. So like I told him to show up on a PC, but he was just on his phone because he was like, "Yeah, I don't have a PC." It was like, bro. But anyways, we're gonna be using our own ad accounts, and I think that's amazing. Like honestly, that solves a lot of problems because now we like control the whole service delivery. We don't have any like super choppy onboarding. It is gonna cost us a little more to like buy the business manager, but it is totally worth it, bro. Because I mean, also for $100, we could buy for 1K, we could buy like 50 business managers, for example, and then we'll have them. Like once you have them, you own them. It's not even like you need to pay a monthly fee or anything. And that's amazing, bro. I mean, of course, you need to find them from a good provider that they are not, that they are not gonna get banned the next day or anything like that. But that is really good. Honestly, like when Abdul told me that's a possibility, I was like, dude, that's amazing. Like that solves a lot of the problems that we're facing. um, or that I was like foreseeing, I guess. And so that's amazing. Then, of course, just have them sign the contract, fill out the onboarding form. So I just shared my screen. I filled out the onboarding form, shared my screen, finished the payment, sent him the contract, and then we created a WhatsApp group. I was able to get a US WhatsApp phone number. So listen closely. If you want a US WhatsApp phone number to look more professional, typically it's hard to do it. Typically you can't do it because you need to like even if you try to verify a number, it says it's an invalid phone number. That's an invalid WhatsApp number for the country United States because it declines landlines. WhatsApp is like super strict in the US. So that sucks. And in the US, and Canada, it's hard. But there is a loophole. Okay, there is one loophole, which is that you can buy a toll-free number and then try to verify that number on WhatsApp. And then it's going to allow you, but it's going to give you an error when it tries sending you a text. So then you can click where it says, I didn't receive the code, and it's going to allow you to give yourself a call. Now, there's a 1 hour cooldown. For some reason, you need to wait 1 hour. But if you wait 1 hour, you'll be able to ask for a call, and you'll get a phone call to your toll free number on Go Ahead Level, and you'll be able to have a US WhatsApp account. Now, once you do that, though, there is one more problem, which is that you cannot message people first. You can't. Okay, so you get banned. Your account gets restricted, and you need to do the process again. Um, you can do it with the same phone number, by the way. It gets unrestricted, but it just logs you out of the account, and then you need to get the code again and whatever. Also, for like a couple hours, you cannot send any messages, whatever. So like, you just cannot message people first because I've done it with a couple numbers already, and yeah, it's just like you're not allowed to message people first because, um, it's like it notices suspicious activity in your account. In my case, I'm from Argentina. Logged out of Argentina, so it sees that I have a US phone number and that I'm messaging people randomly, sometimes sending them links, which I used to do before. So it's gonna restrict you sooner than later, especially if people don't reply to you, right? Um, so you kind of want them to message you first, or if you're gonna create a group, just create the group from your other WhatsApp account and then leave, right? And that's really how it works. That's the one loophole. You can have a US WhatsApp account no matter where you are, and so that's amazing, bro. I was honestly super happy to find that. I have one more loophole because I have a friend in the US that could buy an account for me or whatever. But I mean, this is so much better because yeah, it's just a lot easier, bro. That's what I would recommend if you want a US WhatsApp number. That's it. That's what I've done and works super well. So now, going more into the nitty-gritty, what is it that I've actually set up today? And that is a good question. The systems that I've been mentioning that I've set up. Let me just show you. So I've set up a lot of systems that are going to look a little complicated. These three are the folders that I've created. We already had a lot of these automations, but I've just changed pretty much all of them. So first of all, the favorable lead form sequence, right? You send them a text, hey, I received your lead form, blah, blah. Then missed call sequence, right? So if you call them and they don't answer, you just add them to the sequence. And whenever they reply, it gets stopped, right? But there's like for 7 days, it's going to follow up with them. And if they reply, of course, it stops the sequence. In case they reply and you try to call them and, for some reason, let's just say that this sequence got stopped, but they are still not replying, then you can start the sequence halfway through, right? So that's why I have this other one kind of. So like in case, like, I'm not going to start the sequence again from zero because it's going to send them the same messages again that they've already seen. So they're going to be like, oh, this obviously automated. So that's why I added this. But anyways, then of course, if I put a tag that it's a bad lead or not interested or unqualified, it's going to remove them from the pipeline. In fact, I could show you. But yeah, it's this. Like it's gonna remove them from all workflows, the pipeline, etc. Then if they send a text message, it's gonna mark them as engaged. So it's gonna give them a tag that says engaged. And if we receive an inbound call, it's gonna give it a tag that says inbound call. That's pretty much it. Pretty simple. Now this is what I've been setting up, which has been huge. This is like one of the biggest things that I think is gonna help us a lot in terms of organization. So This may seem a little complex. It's all the same. So you're going to see it's very simple. But basically, whenever a call goes through, right? So whenever we make a call, outgoing, so like an outbound call, we call somebody, then it's going to update the number of times that they've been called, right? So whenever we make a call, then it's going to go through this condition, which is like, okay, how many times had that person been called? And so if they had been called 0 times, then it's going to update it to 1, right? If 0, then update contact field to 1. So there's just like a custom field that you can set up on Go Ahead Level. If you don't know how that works, then I'm sorry. You'll need to like kind of do your homework a little bit. I'm just gonna keep it kind of high level because I'm not a Go Ahead Level master either. Um, but then it's gonna add them to like a different automation. In fact, this one I need to, yeah, it's gonna add them to another automation to like track. So let me show you here. Here I have like counters, right? So it's like here I can see how many leads have we gotten this week, right? And keep in mind, I only set this up yesterday, so the numbers are not correct. But anyways, let's just say this week I got 41 leads. Okay, and how many of those leads, how many unique leads have been called? So like not how many total calls, but rather how many unique leads. So if I call a lead 5 times, that still only counts as one lead, right? So how many unique leads have been called? So like around half of them. So we definitely need to do better. Um, then how many booked appointments? 19, right? So perfect. Out of these 41 leads, we know that 19 appointments have been booked. That's freaking amazing. Then how many appointments have been a no-show or we've canceled them because they were unqualified? Because we allow them to self-book the appointment, and that's another thing I want to show in a second, so I'll do it. But um, we also call them to confirm the self-bookings, and if they are unqualified, then we cancel the appointment. So there's like how many appointments no-showed or they've canceled, and it's been 6 so far. Then how many calls, how many times do we have to call a lead to book the first appointment? So this is huge, right? So how many times do we have to call a lead? And here you can see it's basically the same as this, but it's just gonna have it wait 30 days, right? So for example, if the appointment has been booked at 0 calls, then it's gonna go here. And in the past month, basically in the past 2 days, because I only set this up yesterday, but in the past month, let's just say the past 30 days, only 7 people have been booked, like self-booked, right, without any calls. Then in the past 30 days, 5 people have been booked after the first call, and then 1 people has been booked after 2 calls. And then we can see how many after 3, how many after 4, how many after 5 to 7 calls, how many after 7 to 9 calls, etc. So like we can see all of those stats, which is really cool. I think probably most people will be booked by the 3rd call. Um, that's just what I personally believe. But anyways, this is some of the counters, right? So like nothing fancy. This is just to count these things, right? And then there's also more counters. So how many leads have been called for the first time in the last week? So here we have 11 leads. These are leads that hadn't been called, and we gave them the first call. This is leads that have been called for the second time. This is having called for the 3rd time, for the 4th time, and then 5 to 10th time, right? For if they are called from the 5 to 10th time, let me show you here in opportunities. They are basically going to be put on a different opportunity. They're going to be put as cold leads because we already called them 4 times with no answer, right? And this all gets updated automatically. It's like I don't need to move this to like a different part or anything. Like this all gets updated automatically by here. It's like here is gonna update them, move them to different contacts, like on this automation or whatever. It's gonna move them from called only once to called twice to called 3 times, etc. So hopefully this is all making sense. I know I'm going over a lot of stuff, but basically you have the new leads, right? Leads that haven't been called. Then as soon as I call them, so let's just say that I call this one. Let's actually test it out. Um, okay, I'll call him and I'll hang up the call. And then this is going to be updated so that he goes here, right? I don't know if there's a cooldown or anything. I don't think so. So let me just update it actually. And maybe it's actually updated right now. Let's just see. Yes, so it's updated. You see, it was automatically updated to called only once. And now also what that's going to do is since I just called him, he's going to get a tag that he's been called in the last 3 hours. And so that's amazing because now I know, maybe I had another 70 leads that were here before. And so now I wouldn't be sure which ones I've called, which ones I haven't, etc. But now I know, okay, this one has been called in the last 3 hours, I'll skip it. Right? Basically, what I want to be able to prevent is I don't want to have to click here because how long does this take to load? It takes like 5 seconds. Plus, if I go back, this is the biggest issue really with it. More than it takes those 5 seconds. Also, when I go back, if I had scrolled down on any of these, then that's going to reset. And this also itself takes a while to load. Right, so how many times is it, how long is it taking me to call these leads? Well, quite a bit, right? I know you could like open it in a new tab, but still, like this takes for me at least like 10 seconds. I mean, you are in the video, so you can probably see how long it actually took. But yeah, like 8 to 10 seconds, you know? So you could do that as they pick up. Oh, this wasn't sent. Okay, looks like their phone number doesn't work. um, so you could do that, but I'd rather not have to open 20 different tabs. Like I'd rather be able to just click on call and be able to call them. But then, of course, the only problem is like, oh, but they send you messages. So how do you know what they've sent you? Well, you can also do some stuff around that, right? So if I go, for example, here to the top of funnel automations, I can set it up so that whenever I receive a message, for example, on this one, right? Whenever I receive a message, not only do I add the tag, but I also add a note with whatever message they sent me. So they replied, whatever they replied, right? And so now I can go here and hover over where it says notes, and then it's going to show me what they actually said on the notes. So for example, this one, he didn't actually send me a message, he just called me. So in the reply says undefined. But then if you look at people that actually replied to me, we could scroll down. Um, Let me see. Okay, let's do this one. David Acevedo, whenever this loads. So this guy, for example, he replied yes. Right? So I asked him, are you in this state? Are you in the state of Utah? Whatever they replied on the ad. And he replied yes. Then also there's this thing that says invest because in the ad we're having a qualification of whether they are able to invest 1K if they would get 5K in return, right? So we have a qualification here. We have two different ads. And by the way, that's also been huge. So let me show you this. So today there's been like a bit of a higher cost per lead, but still we're getting a good cost per lead per qualified leads. It's like it's around twice what it would otherwise be. This is $1.34 without qualification, and there's like $3 with qualification, right? So like it is higher, but I would say it's worth it because you know that these people like they are willing or like they have the capacity to invest like 1K at least, and so that's very good. Anyways, to put this all in a simple way, right? I now have counters, so like I can actually track these stats, like how many leads do we have, how many of those are booked, um, how many have we called, how many times, right? So like, are we properly doing the follow up, etc. This is gonna be really good. I think we're gonna use a lot of these systems for our clients as well to like actually track all of our sellers and VAs at scale. I think it's gonna be amazing, man, as we do this. And yeah, how many calls it takes to book the first appointment, the no shows, cancellations. I think those counters are really good, and I think we don't really need anything else. I think these are probably. I mean, we're gonna come up with more things as we go, but for now, I think that's more than good. Then the top of funnel automations, right? To just follow up with them. Um, this backend stuff, right? Once again, what it does is just gonna update how many times they've been called. It's also gonna have a 3 hour cooldown. It's just gonna put the tag called in the last 3 hours. Then it's gonna give a 3 hour cooldown. And so if you double dial them, that is gonna count only as one dial. Like it's only gonna count as number of times called one. So even if you call them 10 times in a row, that's only gonna count as one. Because realistically, if I'm not available now, even if you call me 10 times, I'm just not available. So that only counts as one time. Then after the 3 hours of cooldown, they are going to be able to leave the workflow, and then if I make a call, they are going to re-enter, right? And then it's going to notice that they've already been called once, so now it's going to update it to two, and now it's going to do the whole thing, wait 3 hours, etc. So it's set up in a pretty cool way. I personally really really like it. I don't know what I'm saving here, but I'll just save it. I personally really like how this is set up. I know this video is going to be longer. Okay, I know, but this is all of the systems that I've been setting up, which I think are super duper cool. And then we have also the appointment workflows, which is the last thing I haven't gone over, which, here we have some basic tags, right? Basic tags. Here also basic tag and no show follow up. And then we have all the appointment booking confirmation, right? So that is pretty basic. That's also another thing that we've changed. Now, if they want to self book an appointment, they need to, okay, let me click on this and show you. So now they need to actually say, yes, I'm able to invest, right? So like they give us their name, phone number, email. Do you have the capital to invest at least 1K if you would get 5K in return? And then they can reply yes, no. And it's like, okay, we'll contact you soon. Can you confirm your call? Yes, no, right? So very easy, very simple thing. Basically, right now, as you can see with the ad as well as the calendar, and also with the setter that we have, I told them to qualify every call. Right, so on every call, you want to ask them if they can at least afford the ad spend, if they can at least do the $30 a day, because if they can do that, realistically, we could just get $100 deposit and just get them results and then they pay us more, right? Like realistically, we could do that possibly. If they have money, we'll close them for 1K. But a lot of these people, they don't have money. So what you want to see is make sure they have money, at least even for the ad spend. And then if they have some money for ad spend, I'm sure I could close them for like 500 and then 1K. And then as we get better and we get more qualified leads and etc., then I could do 1K and 1K or whatever. Right? But for now, bro, a lot of these people are just not qualified. But there's a lot of this stuff that I've been setting up. Okay, so change the appointment booking for better qualification. Um, I also changed the onboarding form. We changed the contract, like some small things, right, that are now like fully set up, which I'm super happy about. Then on the automations, this is like super cool because now basically I can just click here and click on call, right? And I don't need to like go into each freaking lead. I can just call them all from here and it all gets updated automatically. So I freaking love it, bro. And if there's appointments that were self-booked that haven't been fully confirmed, they are gonna go here. If they are no-show, they are gonna go here. Um, Let me see. Confirmed appointments go there. Then you have the colder leads, and then you have not interested. So that's not gonna load because it has like a lot of people. So that's the downside. My computer is kind of shitty. I mean, this is probably like, well, no, only like 1 GB on RAM, but this is loading super slow. So yeah, we may need to do something else if this loads so slowly. But the cool thing is that once it loads, like that's it. I would basically just not leave the page and call all the leads, you know? So I'm really happy, bro. I'm really happy with this setup because honestly, I'm gonna be doing more setting calls now. Like, cause now it's organized. Before it was like super unorganized. I've always hated the way Go Ahead Level is set up to make these calls. Like, it's just terrible, bro. Truly terrible. If you compare Go Ahead Level to Close, like there's no comparison to it. Close is better than Go Ahead Level 10 times to 1 as far as sales. But of course, it's a CRM designed for sales. But I mean, how is it that on Go Ahead Level, you are not even able to like see how many times a lead has been called in the last like week? How is it that I cannot filter for leads that haven't been called and like I need to set up a custom field and etc. Like, why make it so hard? Why wouldn't you have a like also a way that I can see how long the call was and I can filter out for leads that they haven't had calls longer than 1 minute? Because yes, maybe they've been called a couple times, but they've never had calls longer than 1 minute. Therefore, they maybe they only called them and they kind of were like, yeah, I don't have time right now. Call me later, and then they never actually had the call. Like, why is it that those filtering things are not there? Why can I not see how long the call was and filter from the like? It makes no sense to me, truly. And that for example, the duration of the call, I don't see any way to set it up. So kind of sucks. But that's a lot of the stuff that I've done. Okay, with the automations, that's something that I'm really, really happy about. How the pipeline is like all organized, the setter pipeline. Now I'm gonna start organizing, especially tomorrow, because tomorrow is Sunday. So I'm gonna have a lot of time. I don't have many appointments. I only booked myself 4. Like I blocked out all of like a lot of time because I in fact didn't want to take any, but I ended up rescheduling one for tomorrow and then I rescheduled another and then I like scheduled like four. But I'm happy. I'm happy with all these changes. Now I'm gonna start changing the sales pipeline. So basically, what I'm gonna do. Oh, and this is something I'm also really happy about. So let me see if I can show this to you. But I was able to find an old sub account of mine, which actually has. Okay, so real quick, this is what I wanted to share. So basically, I'm gonna set it up. I had to reactivate my old Go level, but I was able to find this template, okay? And I was able to send myself the snapshot and everything, which basically, after I get, after I finish the appointment, I just need to reply what was the outcome, right? So I just get an email and I just need to click like one button and it's on. So there's like four options here. I'm gonna add a couple more. So I'm probably gonna add, let me see. I'm gonna add like they no showed, you know, they paid a deposit. They showed and they paid a deposit. They showed and I need to like follow up with them. They closed, or they were unqualified, right? Or they showed and they were not interested, whatever. So like I'm gonna basically add all of these options here, and it's gonna be so good, man, because that way I'll actually track it. Because right now, honestly, I'm not tracking it. Like only the no shows are tracked, which as you can see, we have a huge no show problem, and that's the last thing I'll go over. The thing that I'll be applying for the no shows is to just do a phone call, basically. Like I'll just do a phone call with them for like 10, 20, 30 minutes, like just do the whole discovery process. I think realistically I could do it in like 25 minutes, and then get to. I'll also tell them like it's gonna be $30 to $50 a day on ad spend, whatever. See if they can even afford that, and if they say yes, then I can hop on Google Meet and actually show them all of the stuff that we're doing, and actually show them like a client sub account, etc., and show them the results because we truly have some good results, man. Like my partner is good. Like I have access to some sub accounts where you can see the leads. Like, hey, I just paid you the $2,000 deposit. Here's the confirmation, whatever. It's like, bro, like that's solid. You know, this is a solid thing to show my clients. Um, and yeah, I'm honestly like really really happy about that. So right now all of those automations are set up. Next steps for the business, really, we're going to start having those calls over the phone. So discovery over the phone. Okay, first of all, big change to have bigger show rates. And then if they are a good lead, then I'll actually hop on Zoom with them. Right, so I'll be like, okay, well, based on what you've told me, we can definitely help you. So if you want, I can show you what we do, how we do it, and walk you through how we help our clients, make 50K, 100K a month. Okay? Okay. Cool. So what I can do if you'd like, I can send you a link. That way we can both hop on a call together and I can show you exactly our like a client's account and the results he's getting. So I just sent you a link. Do you see it? Like I'm just gonna do something like that, and that way you have all the upside, right? Because I'm able to like they're able to see me face to face, so that there's no like big trust objections or anything. They're able to see a client's account live, right? I can share the screen. I can also share my screen to get the payment information. Like I just have all the upside with like very little downside. Really, the only downside is that there's not as much trust than if I had the whole call over Google Meet or Zoom, but there's going to be more shows. Like more people are actually going to show up, I personally think. So that's going to be good. Right now, biggest thing is like do discovery over the phone for the show rates, then hire another setter because right now we need to get back to more of the leads, right? So hire another setter for the bookings. Then also the qualifications that we've added to the booking calendars and also the ads, right? For qualifying the leads, making sure that they have more money. And also the setters are qualifying the leads more, right? Our setter. And I'm surely going to hire somebody else as well because he's good, but he doesn't have like as much time. He can only dedicate so many hours. And we are getting way too many leads each day, bro. I think realistic for a setter is for like 15 new leads a day. I actually think like maybe 20. But if you account for the 20 of that day plus all the ones from the days before, is like quite a bit. So, and right now we're getting more like 30 per day, honestly, because we're getting very cheap cost per lead. So that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else to go over. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow and I'll go over probably some more stuff. But that's everything I had for today. Very long video, but I wanted to show all the automations, all the things that I've set up. And let's see how it goes tomorrow, man. I'm gonna set up the rest of the stuff. God bless you guys. Bye.